What's up, y'all? It's Sports Kid here with my 2023 Ohio State Buckeyes season predictions. Let's get into it. Last year, Ohio State went 11-2 with a regular season loss to Michigan in the game, and then the playoff loss to Georgia. This season, their projected win total is 10.5, so between 10 and 11 games is what Vegas is thinking for the Buckeyes this year. There are 14 returning players, 7 on either side of the ball, and 7 Buckeyes got drafted in the 2023 NFL Draft. The recruiting class was top 5, number 4 in the country, and the transfer rank was top 30. There's one 5-star in this class, Cardinal Tate, coming in from IMG Academy in Florida, plays receiver and is a top 25 national player. Then we also have Brandon Innis, definitely messed that up. Receiver coming in from Fort Lauderdale, Florida. He is a very high 4-star, ranked 35th nationally, just a little ways behind Carnell. Then we also have Noah Rogers, another receiver. That's right, their top 3 players were all receivers. I'm pretty convinced Ohio State is just receiver U at this point. Rogers is coming in from North Carolina. Plays receiver, obviously, and he's just a little bit farther behind Brandon, ranking in at 40th nationally. These are the 3rd, 5th, and 8th best receivers in the country. Insane receiving recruiting class. Along with those guys, there are a bunch of other 4-stars and 3 stars. They're all going to be freshmen this season. Potentially, might get some time in the crummy games, maybe. The transfer class was pretty good. 7 players, and 2 of them are going to be starters. Those 2 are Josh Simmons, playing on the interior offensive line, coming in from SDSU. Then we also have Jahad Carter, who is a safety transferring in from Syracuse. Personal ratings for Ohio State this year, I'm giving them a 9 on offense and a 9.5 on defense. The offense, we're going to have probably Kyle McCord starting. Then the running back room is the 2nd best in the country. The receiving room is the best in the country. The offensive line is young, very young. 66 starts, I think, combined. But they're also just very good all around. The defense is also pretty phenomenal. Top 5 defensive line. Top 10 linebacking room. And a top 15 defensive back room. Fantastic team. Are they going to get it done, though? That's the big question. Here's the schedule. The schedule difficulty is an A-, hanging around the top 30 in schedule difficulty in the country. We start out the season with a Big Ten game against Indiana. Then they play Youngstown State and Western Kentucky before they head on the road to South Bend, where they play their 2nd game of the Notre Dame Ohio State series. Then they come back home to Columbus, where they play Maryland. Then they go to Purdue, back home for Penn State. Then on the road for Wisconsin and Rutgers. Final 3 games are Michigan State, Minnesota, and Michigan on the road. Indiana, they are the first team on the schedule. I'm pretty convinced they're going to be a bottom feeder in the Big Ten. Pretty crummy team overall. It will be in, I think, Bloomington's where they play. I don't think it's going to matter much, and Ohio State should show up and win big against the Hoosiers. Pretty much the same thing for Youngstown State, but they're actually an FCS team. They aren't in the conference, but it should also be a big win for Ohio State. Pretty much a warm-up game. This is a game that probably most of the freshmen could start and pull off a victory. 3rd game of the season, the Buckeyes are going to play Western Kentucky. Good old Hilltoppers at home, just going in for the cash. Another big Ohio State victory in the third game of the season. Then stuff gets interesting. On the road, going to South Bend, Indiana, where they're going to play Notre Dame. Last year, it was pretty close. 11-point victory for Ohio State. This year, Notre Dame is going to be better, I think. Maybe not by too much, but they should be better with the new transfer quarterback from Wake Forest, Sam Hartman, who I believe set ACC records, and he should be pretty good at Notre Dame. I am going to say it might be a toss-up. On the road, I think Ohio State could do it. Their team is strong enough. I think on paper, the Ohio State team is better than Notre Dame's, but there is so much of home field advantage in South Bend. It is pretty crazy. It is great environment. Should be probably game of the week, maybe a game day, college football game day on ESPN, unless it's on Fox. I don't know. It's going to be a really good game, I think. I'll probably end up watching it. I'm going to say it's a toss-up. But yeah. Maryland. I think Maryland is improving. They're in the Big Ten East, same division as Ohio State. They're threatening this year, I guess, to solidify themselves as one of the better teams in the division. Along with the Buckeyes, the Nittany Lions, and the Wolverines. They're trying. They made it real close last year. And I think at home, Ohio State should win. But last year it was close. I watched that game. It was a good game. I'd love to see Maryland win some big games, but I don't think on the road in Columbus will be a game they'll pull off for the victory. Next up, we have the Purdue Boilermakers, aka the Spoilermakers. I think they're going to lose that nickname pretty quickly. They're going to be garbage this year, honestly. On the road, I guess, for Ohio State, I don't think that's going to make a difference. Purdue should be the worst, or one of the worst teams in the Big Ten. Probably the worst in the Big Ten West. Yeah, big win for the Buckeyes. Next up, we have Penn State, who consistently makes this a close game at home, so definitely an advantage for Ohio State. But Penn State, they're putting together a good squad. They have some young players at running back and quarterback, but they are a good program. I don't know if they'll win 11 games again, but they're a good program, and they could definitely keep it close. They brought in the number one quarterback in the 2022 recruiting class. He's going to be starting, I believe, or battling at least to start, now that Sean Clifford's finally gone. Pretty good series recently, and yeah, toss-up, I'm going to say. Next up, we have Wisconsin. Now, this is a road game being played in Madison. Wisconsin, I believe, are the favorites to win the Big Ten West and go to the Big Ten championship game. I don't think it's going to be much of a impact on the road in Madison, although I hear a lot that it is a very difficult place to play. This is the toughest game Ohio State is going to get out of the Big Ten West in their West draw. I'll probably watch this game. It should be pretty good, at least, or competitive. Wisconsin does have a first-year head coach, so that might affect things a little bit. I think the Buckeyes should win this one pretty solidly, and continue as a top 5 team in the country, probably at least top 10. Next up, we have 4 games to go. Next up is Rutgers, being played in New Jersey on the road and off a bye. Rutgers has a bit of an advantage, but they're not any good at all. So Ohio State should just totally win that one. Another sort of Indiana and Purdue type of game. conference rivals, conference opponents at least. But they're not any good, at least in comparison to Ohio State or Michigan or Penn State. Buckeye should win that one by a lot. 3 more games. We have Michigan State, the Spartans. They were garbage last year, honestly, and I don't know if they're going to get much better. They had one good season, and that was in 2021. I don't think they're going to get back to that quality of a team, at least not this year. And Ohio State should win this one solidly, as they have in recent years, putting up 50 plus points. Finally, or second to last, we have Minnesota. Minnesota is not going to be fantastic. 6-6, 7-5, pushing for 8-4, I guess. At home for the Buckeyes, they last played in 2021. It was as the first game of the season. Ohio State should win this one. It could be close. It shouldn't be close, but it could be. Yeah, the Buckeyes should honestly just win that one outright. Finally, we have the game. The game's on the road. It is in Ann Arbor at Michigan. The Big House, one of the most difficult places to play in the country. And for that reason, I'm going to say it's a close loss. This is a streak. This is a current streak for Michigan of 2 games, back-to-back years, back-to-back victories over the Buckeyes. Leave all the dislikes you want. I'm calling it. Michigan wins this game for a 3rd year in a row, and they start a long streak. Buckeyes could win this one. Sort of a toss-up, but I'm going to say that Michigan wins on the road at such a great environment in Ann Arbor. I'm going to say Michigan wins. Fight me all you want. Don't really, actually, please don't. I'd probably lose. But leave all the dislikes you want. But I am going to call a Michigan win for the 3rd year in a row. That puts Ohio State with a projected record of 10-2 from me, with victories over the 6 teams in the big win category, the 3 teams in the close win category for 9 wins, and then I think they drop one of the toss-up games. I could totally see them winning both. But for the sake of it, I'm going to say that they lose one of those 2 games, and I'd probably say it's Notre Dame. On the road, very difficult to play in South Bend. And I sort of wanted to call it last year that Notre Dame was going to win. I might have, but I would have been wrong. Yeah, 10-2 is my record prediction. I'm sure you disagree. If you're a Buckeyes fan, 12-0, go Buckeyes, whatever. If you disagree, let me know in the comments. Tell me why. Why do you disagree? Also, Mr. Kyle McCord, what do we think about him? Is he going to be elite like Stroud and past quarterbacks? Or is he going to be a 1-year, 2-year guy that's going to be there just to be there? Is he going to get beat out by a player behind him? Let me know. Thank you so much for watching, and until the next one,